good design is always improving, or it needs to be replaced. This Christmas, we attached our LED bars to the sides of the wooden trees that we built last year. We replaced the extra wooden trees with green trees, and we wrapped another 1,000 LEDs around them. This gave us 3 completely independent lighting looks on the stage: the wooden trees, the pixel bars, and the green trees. I often used a combination of everything, but it's good to have a lot more than you really need. This allows songs to build, have intentionality, and be given moments using specific lighting looks. By the end of this video, I want you to have a good understanding of how we built this design and have some ideas for your own projects. The wooden trees are built out of 2 pieces of wood that make up the A-frame of the tree, with a bottom support and 2 outriggers to keep it stable. For the lights, we used addressable LEDs so that we can do stuff like this. Normal Christmas tree lights can only turn on and off, when someone plugs them in, that is, but you could set up a smart outlet. With these special LEDs, every pixel can be given its own unique RGB value that, when combined, make any color. Like this TV, but a lot less detailed. Now that you know what each LED is capable of, we just need to string 2,000 LEDs across the trees, and that should only take, well, a while. I started with the largest tree, and I marked down the number of LEDs that I strung across each row, with 1 LED on each edge against the wood. Creating this chart or documentation is critical because I'm going for precision with the content that I display across these trees. When I play a pattern, I want to see the resolution out of the LEDs. I explained how each pixel can receive unique color information, how I'm going to send unique color information to these 2,000 plus LEDs is by using a program that lets me lay out the location of the pixels. Then the software analyzes the video content playing over each pixel, and it pushes the decided upon RGB value to the pixel. Then it does this across every LED a few thousand times per, handful of milliseconds. It's very, very fast. Detail is achieved by laying out each pixel in a row based on how they are physically laid out in the real world. The reason I took such good notes is to help me know how many pixels there are on each row. With 1 pixel on the edge of each row, the idea was that if I start with the largest tree, then the smaller trees would basically be the same number of LEDs, just have less rows vertically. This ended up being mostly true, but the base, it turns out, is slightly different width on the different sized trees, and the hooks were installed at slightly different spacing. In the end, I got there. To control these LEDs, I'm going to use 4 of my trusty ENTTEC OCTO Mark II controllers that are receiving ArtNet from Resolume Arena on my laptop. I would have used our lighting console, Vista 3, but we only have 1 universe, and well, here's the math breakdown. The total LEDs on the stage is 5,420. There's 4,000 wood tree LEDs, there's 1,000 green tree LEDs, and there are 6 pixel sticks. 420 LEDs total. That's how I got the 5,420 LEDs on the stage times 3 channels for RGB is 16,260 channels. And then we divide that by 510 to get the universes, which is 32 full universes. I'm obviously using more than that because like the 6 LED sticks, each of those is using a single universe, and the rest of them are a lot more evenly distributed. These Octo controllers connect to the network via Ethernet and are super reliable. If you'd like to add LED pixels to your stage, then these Octo Mark II controllers are a fantastic option. One key feature of these Octo controllers is the grouping of pixels feature. Normally set to 1, so every LED uses 3 channels RGB, and so on and so on. With a group value of, let's change it to 3, every 3 LEDs are going to share an RGB value with its group of LEDs, which means you only need 1/3 of the channels. Put your controllers in 10 channel mode, for example, and now every 10 LEDs share the value of the first 3 channels. The next 10 LEDs share channels 4, 5, and 6, and so on. This way you have a lot less resolution, but you can control everything from your lighting console as you build out a new system like this. For each of the green trees, I used 3 packs of WS2811 LEDs. These come in strands of 50. I opened and stretched them and then tied the connections together so that they would be the same spacing as the LEDs. I also snip the factory stripped wires to avoid any shorts caused by the exposed positive and ground wires that are potentially touching. I originally hung the strips vertically on the green trees, but people didn't like the look of this and I agreed, so I eventually rewrapped them horizontally. We assembled 12-volt power supplies with 3D printed housings, IEC input and output connectors, and barrel connectors to connect the pixels up. Then we control these pixels with a small microcomputer that connects to Wi-Fi as well as quick disconnects from the tree's LED pixels. In Resolume Arena, I have these LEDs in blocks of 50 for the green LED trees. So lots less detail, but I usually just display them as a solid color, and when I don't, I just want them to go crazy. The LED bars are normally used for uplighting on our hexagons on the stage. I wanted to do something new, so I screwed them to the trees and faced them out to the side. This is a completely new way to display light from these fixtures, because normally no one knows that they exist when they're hidden and used as uplighting. Allowing the audience to directly see the result of the fixtures is how we normally use them, but now we're allowing the audience to see the direct light from these fixtures. This is a very popular method for using lighting fixtures, especially on stages that do not use haze to spread the light rays around evenly. I changed these lights to their 34 channel mode so I could get as much resolution as possible. All 12 are still only using the one universe. They are connected together with DMX cables and power cables, but controlled from my ENTTEC ODE Mark II. This is a network DMX node. This device receives ArtNet, kind of like the Octos from Resolume, and they have the output to connect two universes of lighting fixtures to the device. The content for the bars is also coming from Resolume. After the first week of this setup, it was super clear, super fast to me that now that we blacked out the hexagons, it was super dark behind anyone at the podium, and it made it feel super weird. The second week of Christmas, I added my LED sticks to the back of the stage. 6 bases with 3-foot sticks and 2 sticks with an extra 1.5 stick on top. The bases are connected to the Wi-Fi and they receive data, again from Resolume, over the network, over 6 universes. They're 60 and 90 pixels per stick. I really only use them while anyone is at the podium, sermons, announcements, then I left them off because they sort of look out of place in the room, but they certainly had their purpose and they really look good on camera. If the upstage area was full of them, like all the way across, maybe like 20, then that would be a very different vibe and they would definitely work well as a design piece on the stage for people in the room. I also added one color light on each side of the stage mounted to the sides of the trees that shine color on the panels outside of our stage area. This really helps bring the stage color into the room more. I did this for Easter last year with some lights on the floor shining up, and it was sort of that effect, a little bit less, but it worked. In Resolume Arena, I have 6 groups set up, and the output from each group is going to the specific LEDs assigned to that group. That way, when I click on a clip inside that group, the content only goes to the LEDs that I intend it to. Let's take a look at my groups inside of Resolume and their intended purpose. The first group are the side lights that bring the stage color out into the room. My second group is the drum lights. I have an LED stick in there, and I've been controlling this light stick from the lighting console, but I had this group in here because I was trying to decide where I wanted to control it from. My next group is the LED sticks. Those are those lights behind the podium, specifically for on camera. The next group are the green trees, and these are just giving off some Christmas vibes. Group number 5 are the bar lights. This is to do patterns and strobes. I have some things mapped on my keyboard, so if I click 1, 2, 3, and 4, it pulses, and then it 1, 2, 3, 4, it fades really fast on 1, less fast on 2, pretty slow on 3, and really slow if I hit number 4, the fade out time. Group number 6 is the wooden trees, which are kind of our primary canvas. Resolume has a feature where you can bring in an external audio FFT input. This means that any audio source can be applied to a clip to control a parameter. I find it works really well for low-end sounds. And when I want the lights to flash to the kick drum, for example, I have Dante Virtual Sound Card running on my laptop, so I can pull any channel from the stage into my laptop. So I grabbed the kick drum audio input, which is great because now I've got good kick. But I decided I wanted to hear some snare, so there's only one of these inputs, so I had to change it to the snare input, and then I only had snare. So hear me out, I had an idea. We have an X32 rack mixer on our stage for our singers. They're in-ear monitors, and they use 2, 4, 6, 8 of the mix buses. On those 6 mix buses, they use their iPads and phones to control their in-ear monitors. I had the thought, what if I send the output from, say, mix bus 11 from the X32 over Dante to my laptop, so then I pulled out my iPad and now I can adjust mix 11, which goes into Resolume Arena. I can grab any channel from the room. It's amazing. Here you're seeing the results of the effect, and it's great because now I can control exactly what's in my mix. How I run this during the service is pretty straightforward. I have clips that contain content. I have rows that contain clips. I also have columns that contain rows and clips. I do have some pre-set up columns with some ideas of what would work well with the different songs based on the backgrounds on the ProPresenter computer. I sometimes have a couple extra columns for parts of the songs that get more intense or for a musical drop-off. Knowing the songs is always super important because I have to go through every row under that column and make sure that when I click on that specific column, that the clips that are triggered have the effect that I was going for. If you've made it this far, then you must be interested in Resolume Arena or agree with the people who have been coming up to us and saying how awesome these lights have been this season. I've been super surprised, especially when they really like the flashing lights in critical moments. I've been using Resolume for years now and I'm still learning new things. If you're looking to do something similar, start small. Maybe group a lot of channels and send content from your lighting software and system. Then work your way into something more complicated. Download the ELM software from ENTTEC if you get one of their Octo controllers. Resolume is a great option. Last Christmas, I patched and laid out the location of all the trees on our stage here. It took forever, but it gave me a great place to start this year. Check out my Christmas poem from 2023. Also take a look at these other videos here on Crazy Amazing Designs. I built this giant F. Hopefully you have been inspired for the build of your own unique project. If you'd like to pick my brain on this topic, leave a comment or send an email. I'd be happy to help you get started. Also, if you'd like to connect with me one-on-one, sign up for a Zoom training session at crazyamazingdesigns.com/training. See you next time.